Welcome back to Kossi's Arsenal podcast. My name is Kossi. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. We are back with the Arsenal news. We're going to be diving into the latest around the club. Ngolo Kante is being offered around and currently linked with Arsenal Football Club. Would you take Ngolo Kante at Arsenal? Let me know in the comment section below. Gabriel Martinelli has given us a big confirmation about his contract. Arsenal are apparently planning on a long contract until 2028, but Martinelli says he's going to be staying with the Gunners for a long time, and we're going to be also talking about that. Aubameyang as well, he's come out and said Mikel Arteta cannot handle big names in the dressing room. He cannot handle the big players in the dressing room. What is your reaction to that? And finally, of course, we'll be wrapping up with a couple of stories, especially transfers around the club. Hit the like button for me. Let's get this video to 300 likes. Subscribe to the podcast. We're very close to 60,000 subscribers. Now, before we start, I would love to pass on this message. Now, Enoch Mapu, the Brighton midfielder who's only 24 years of age from Zambia, has been forced into retirement with a cardiac problem or with a heart problem, which was actually born with. Now, this is a very, very sad message to Africans, especially because we don't have so many players representing the continent in the Premier League. You think about Patson Daka, you think about Enoch Mapu and a few others. I think Mapu has been a special talent. But Brighton have confirmed the player will not be playing any more minutes right from this moment, and probably until the end of his life. He won't be playing any more football, especially at a professional level. That is also confirmed. So Enoch Mapu, if you knew him, if you looked at Brighton, if you've seen him at Brighton, that guy, that talented guy, is not going to be playing any more football for Brighton. It's a sad story for me. I don't know how to really realize it, but I feel it's a very, very sad story. When I saw it, I was absolutely shocked. I was absolutely sent into a very, very bad mood. So Mapu, I think all I can say is our thoughts, our minds, and our condolences. Not really condolences because it's just the death of a career, not the death of a person. So our emotions with Enoch Mapu and his family. I would have wanted him to play football. At 24, you're still very young, especially if you're African. At 24, you're still very young. You're still very strong. There is a lot to come, in your way. But Enoch Mapu has a problem with his heart. Won't be continuing any football in his career. So we all say here at Kossi's Arsenal podcast that our thoughts are with Enoch Mapu and his family. Now, jumping into the Arsenal news, the big story today is about Gabriel Martinelli signing a new deal, apparently. Now, he was asked about his new deal at Arsenal. What is it like and all that? I said, look, first and foremost, I'm going to be staying for Arsenal, at Arsenal for a very, very long time. That's a huge positive from Gabriel Martinelli because, like I said, he's one of those players that I feel Arsenal will retain him. Arsenal will actually keep him for as long as they want. I've always felt like the likes of Saka, the likes of Odegaard, you could fight with them, but with Gabriel Martinelli, I see that kind of passion. You feel that kind of love for the club. Of course, being American and all these poor backgrounds do dictate a lot in their career paths and the future. He could decide to sign for another club because they give him more money and he wants to better where he's coming from. But if Arsenal can give him the money he wants, and he says it, if we can find an agreement between me and the club, I want to stay at Arsenal and I want to be here for a very, very long time. Now, according to the Ghana blog, Arsenal have already started initial stages of giving him a new contract. Initial talks have actually been held, and we are expecting a very, very big positive outcome in them. The new contract should be extended until 2028. His current contract runs down in 2024. However, Arsenal do have a clause, or do have an option of extending his contract for another 12 months. So that means the contract will actually be triggered until 2025. But Arsenal don't want to use that option, and Arsenal don't want to risk Martinelli and playing around with him. They want to give him a contract until 2028. Those are 4 more years for the player. And look, I'm not really contented with these contracts 2027, 2020, 2028. Look, they're long enough. We are in 2022. If you give him until 2028, that is 6 more years on his contract. Until 2027, that is 5 more years. But can we do it like until 2029? Can't we do it until I don't know? Because I want these guys to stay. I want these boys to be together, and I want them to build something together so that Arsenal can achieve. I don't want our span and spell to be like Liverpool's. One UCL, one Premier League, one FA Cup, one Carabao Cup, and then it's over. No, I want Arsenal to win at least every trophy, every major trophy twice. And you look at Martinelli, you look at Saka, you look at Martin Odegaard. That a bracket guarantees you that you can win the Premier League and then win it again while they're still in their prime. So look, anyway, Mikel was asked about this yesterday in his press conference, and he said currently Martinelli doesn't need to do anything. We all know what he deserves, and we're trying to work in the similar in a very in the same direction to make sure that he actually gets what he deserves. He's currently earning around, is it 30 to 40,000 pounds per week, almost the same as William Saliba. Of course, I think it's gonna be going to 100k or 120k per week, and I think he fully deserves it. So in the comment section, talk to me. How long should Gabriel Martinelli's contract be extended? 5, 6, 7 years, or even 8 years? Because for me, if there is, I've seen the likes of Declan Rice been given these long contracts, and I'm like, if Arsenal can do that as well, give him at least 7 years. Just make sure that he's there for you, right? Just make sure that that contract is sorted. My problem with Arsenal is we offer these short-term contracts that expire very quickly. Within 2 years, you have to sit down again with the player, talk about the terms. You have to struggle with the player. At times, he wants to leave. At times, a couple of clubs actually want to sign him. So for me, it should be around 8 years. They're still young. If you give them 8 years, that is until they turn around 28, 29. That would be the ideal situation. But anyway, to be honest, Martinelli deserves a new deal. Saka deserves a new deal, and Odegaard deserves a new deal as well. All those players playing right from the defense up top, every Arsenal player right now deserves a restructured deal. And if they can win anything this campaign, and I know this is what Mikel and a couple of agents are looking at. They have gone, especially Saka's and a few others. They're waiting for Arsenal to win something big. If Arsenal win the Europa League, they're gonna ask for more money. If Arsenal win the Premier League, they're gonna ask for more money. So I don't know what Arsenal is going to do in this situation. Do you wait until you win something, or until the end of the season, and you've won something, and then you negotiate with all these players and their agents, or you do it now? In my sense, in the footballing sense, you do it now. You don't want to pay those exaggerated salaries because you want the young players want you something. You want to give them something you feel is within your reach, something within your means, and also something they actually deserve. For me, Martinelli, 120k, he deserves that. But I think probably more. He deserves 100k. Saliba, 100k, and then Saka, 150k. Around there, that should be the way. That should be the salary range. But apart from that, I think it's fine. Giving Martinelli a new deal is a brilliant idea. We don't want to let players run into the final year. That has never gone down very well. Lacazette, one of them, left on a free. Aubameyang, the other. We struggled to keep him, and when we kept him, we all know how the story ended. Mesut Ozil and the other players. So you don't want to let these players run into the last year, because if you do that, you're allowing yourself to compete with these other big clubs outside that have a similar opportunity to sign him. If a player has 1 year left on his contract, he can sign a pre-contract with a club in January, and then in May or June he signs for free for that club. We don't want to be in that situation. Now, the other big story I've looked at on our page is Ngolo Kante being linked with Arsenal. However, the story is not about Ngolo Kante alone. The story is also about Ngolo Kante being linked with Chelsea, Barcelona, Juventus, and a couple of clubs in France. But look, I don't know how it has come to this, that Chelsea are pushing Ngolo Kante away. But listen, this is my idea here. I've already said Ngolo Kante is old. I've already said Ngolo Kante, we need fresh legs and fresh blood. But I've seen what these experienced players can do, and I've seen what kind of leadership, what kind of pedigree you get from signing experienced players, Jesus and Alexander Zinchenko. This is where I'm going to change my mind about Ngolo Kante. If there is a small pocket where Arsenal sign Ngolo Kante, get him in. Honestly, get him in. And this is these are my opinions. I want you to share your thoughts in the comment box below. Why I want Ngolo Kante? I think it's a no-brainer. I think with Ngolo Kante, it's a no-brainer. Every club right now, apart from Manchester City, would use his services in the Premier League. Because Partey is injury-prone, you need Ngolo Kante. Chelsea, for me, they don't have a better defensive midfielder than Ngolo Kante. Whether it is Tottenham Hotspur right now, I don't think Pierre-Emile Højbjerg or Yves Bissouma is better than Ngolo Kante. So for me, it's an absolute shambles that his contract is running down, and it is pretty much clear that his contract and Jorginho's at Chelsea will not be extended. But the way they are treating him like rubbish, the way they are treating him like garbage, it is absolutely a disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace. They should be ashamed, Chelsea, right? This guy has won everything for them, from the Champions League to the Premier League to the FA Cup. He's won everything you can win at club level for Chelsea. So should Arsenal sign him? Definitely. I think it's one of those signings that could easily happen from Chelsea to Arsenal. It wouldn't cause a lot of noise and all that. We can even get him on a free in the summer. If Arsenal are serious, we can get him on a free in the summer. And look, of course, this depends. If Arsenal are willing to spend money on a potential Partey replacement, one that's gonna come in young, look at Partey, how he goes about the business, and then probably take over from him, then Ngolo Kante can wait. But if we are not willing to splash money on a Partey replacement, if you're not willing to splash money on a defensive midfielder or holding midfielder right now, then that is where for me Ngolo Kante must sign. Good on the ball, good off the ball. Arsene Wenger's comments on him are: he's one of the few defensive midfielders that can win the ball without giving away a foul. He doesn't pick up yellow cards. He doesn't pick up red cards. He doesn't cause those silly challenges near the penalty area. And for me, he runs throughout the game. Small size, his work rate is unbelievable. His work rate is absolutely unbelievable. So for me, it's a no-brainer. Any team right now, Liverpool, they should be ashamed. They should be going for these signings. Ngolo Kante, he's around 30, 31. Give him a 3-year contract at Arsenal, or probably 2 years plus 1. Let's just have that experience. He's a winner. We are going to be in those situations where you need to win every game by a goal to nil. And the question is, can we do it? Right? You need such players like Ngolo Kante, Gabriel, Alexander Zinchenko. They know how to win late. They know how to come from 2-0 down to win a game. They have lived all that experience. So in my opinion, I would say Ngolo Kante is a good catch. I've seen a few decent clubs interested, including Barcelona. These greedy bastards, they're always sniffing around every deal that is available. But if Barca are interested in him, if Xavi wants him, and Xavi and Barcelona for me, Xavi and Arsenal don't play a very different kind of football. The difference is ours is a little bit faster. We have runners, and then we are sharper and a little bit more precise, and I think clinical. Barca, I feel there is something lacking. So for me, guys, Ngolo, bring him at Arsenal. Bring him in at Arsenal. Give me Ngolo Kante. Don't give me Douglas Luiz. Don't give me Jorginho. Give me Ngolo Kante, and we will see the difference between him and the likes of the players that we are actually linked with. And finally, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang has actually come out and criticized Mikel Arteta. Now, Aubameyang says Mikel Arteta cannot handle the big names, cannot handle the big figures in the dressing room. Now, probably this comes from the fact that he chose to do away with Mesut Ozil, to do away with Aubameyang, to do away with Alexander Lacazette, and also to do away with Bernard Leno. So, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang says the problem with Mikel Arteta, he can work with these small figures, he can work with these young players, but when it comes to the big names, when it comes to the stars, he cannot actually handle. Look, when we embarrassed Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, stripped him of the captaincy, banished him, and all that, I was hurt. I was absolutely hurt, and I thought the decision was unfair. The decision was it shouldn't have been taken. We should have done better. We should have found a way of making sure that Aubameyang leaves Arsenal Football Club in a more respectful manner. And for that, I will never forget Arsenal. I will never forgive Arsenal. We let Aubameyang, our former captain, at some point in time, this guy, won everything for us. He won the FA Cup for us on his shoulders, and he carried us on his shoulders for some time. Banishing him like that, I will never forgive Arsenal. That was not the right thing to go about with the business. But again, Aubameyang coming out and saying that Arteta cannot handle the big names, Arteta cannot handle the big characters in the dressing room. That is a shambles. Just shut your mouth, because we all know at least a few of the information that actually came out. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang was becoming a problem in the dressing room, and not only in the dressing room but also on the pitch. Honestly, right? For me, Gabriel Jesus right now is far more better in terms of productivity than Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and Alexander Lacazette combined in the last season, right? In their last season, he's better than them in terms of productivity, better than them both combined. And I won't take my words back. I just feel like he's better. So Aubameyang, if he was captain and didn't feel like he needs to behave like a captain, because this is a batch of young players. We last campaign, and I think this campaign as well, we were having the youngest average age in the league. These players have to look upon you. These players have to look at your career. You set the example. You set the tone. When you set the tone that we will not follow the rules, we will not actually be obedient, that is what's going to happen. When you set the pace, they follow. So for me, Aubameyang and Leno, I say this: Aubameyang has no right to criticize Mikel Arteta. The only player that has a right to criticize Mikel Arteta is Mesut Ozil. Only and only Mesut Ozil, because he was pushed out of Arsenal because of political reasons. He's the only player that I'm not trying to suppress freedom of speech here. No, don't get me wrong. He can't say whatever he wants, but for me, he has no right to come out and speak, in that way. He was becoming a problem, and many of us were actually calling for him to be dropped to the bench before he left for FC Barcelona. But anyway, guys, that is it from me. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang makes those remarks. What do you think about them? Kante linked with Arsenal. Enoch Mapu resigns or retires early. And then Gabriel Martinelli has given a confirmation that he wants to stay for us to Arsenal. He wants to seek his future at the Emirates Stadium. And he will be a long time here if he can actually get the contract. I'll speak to you live later.